Okay, everybody, I am beyond excited to do this. I have been following Rachel for like years now, and we actually just like were on the Pam Souter Zoom together somehow, and then I was like, God, I'm just gonna buck up the courage and just ask her to do a Zoom for us because she is totally one of those leaders that I just think is super genuine and has a ton to share with all of us. And so I'm first and foremost, I'm going to have her tell her story. So if you guys aren't familiar, you can get to know her. And then Rach, I just have literally like 2 or 3 questions for you. And then I'll let you go because I know with this deal and everything, your time is super precious. So I won't take up too much time from you. So I'm going to unmute you. And so, yeah, I'll have you start with just whatever version of your story you want to tell us. Go for it.
Okay, hi guys. Oh my gosh, it was so that like little like I know we've talked before, but like that little like free connection on Zoom. I don't know. She caught me on a good day. No, not on a good day. I'm not like a mean person, but she caught me on a day where I was in my feelings. And bless your heart, that was so sweet. I actually talked to Pam after that. I don't know if I told you I talked to Pam after that. Saying just how great it was. And she was like, how great that we got to start off with someone named Hope. That was a special Zoom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just such a good Zoom. So anyways, I'm glad you asked me. I'm so glad that you asked me and I get to do this. So my name's Rachel and I'm going to be celebrating 5 years in September. So basically 5 years. And if we were just to rewind, you guys, I had actually tried Avon when I was 19. Like I had graduated high school, I was going to college, and it's just bad time. Nothing bad about the company, but it more so was for older people. You know, like you hand out booklets and you place one big order, everything comes to you, and you literally like deliver the products. And I'm trying to do this while I'm like getting drunk in college and living like that kind of life. And I quit. And I didn't make money. I didn't really lose money. I think it was $20 to join or something, but I wasn't good at it. And so I had the mindset that like, without knowing anything about any other company, I'm like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm just not, I don't see myself doing that. So you guys, I got pregnant when I was 20. A year after that, I got pregnant, and that wasn't part of the plan. I was still in college, and my life kind of turned upside down. I always wanted to be a mom, and I did want to be a young mom. 20 was a different story, but you know, I was a full-time waitress, a full-time college student. I was about to be a mom. I applied for government assistance. We got approved for what seemed like a lot of money, and it was just like, I thought that we were going to live the good life, like free money. Like I didn't even know what government assistance was. I was so ignorant and young. I didn't even know what that was. Someone told me at work I needed to apply for it, and then it started to feel really crappy to go grocery shopping and to like look for the shortest line because people are behind you, and like it takes a long time when you have those coupons to redeem and everything, and it just didn't feel good. But I was like kind of battling between, this is how life is gonna be, because I was young, dumb, irresponsible, and I'm never gonna get ahead because we did things out of order. Shame on us. But then I'm also like, there's got to be more to life than this. Like there has to be. But I never thought it would be at work. So there's one and only person posting on my social media, and she was not posting about the business. So I didn't even know that was like a thing. I just saw the products, and I just thought you needed to become a customer. And so I was interested in the wraps. That's all she posted about. And I was very insecure, and I wanted the wraps. And then when she like tried getting me as a customer, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not for the budget. Like here I am like dreaming about this stuff. And like, I don't, like as a mom, especially a young struggling mom, you're last, you know? So I kind of just was like, well, sorry for wasting your time. But when I expressed that, she asked me about the business, and I shut her down with every excuse, you guys. And so long story short, that's not even the important stuff, but that's just a little bit about where I was at. And I think what's important about hearing that is that there's other people on your social media that are like that. And if you would have seen my social media and seen me at that point in time, you wouldn't have asked me to join your team, but you just never know who needs it. You never know who needs it. And so I joined her team that same day. I used a credit card for that $100, and I had an 8-month-old at the time. So he was born, he was 8 months old, and I just wanted to give him a better life. And for me, we were struggling so bad that for me, a better life was a couple $100s a month. That's all, not 500, couple hundred. And I could surely do that in my head. So I joined, and I didn't have very much time. Like I said, I was a full-time server, a full-time college student, a mom, and my husband just proposed a week before I joined. So I was doing all that wedding planning stuff. And so I didn't have a lot of time, which meant I had to be very, very, very intentional with the time I had. So, you know, when you're like needing time and you're needing to do this, it's like you find all these little power hours that I didn't even know were a thing back then. When my son was napping, downtime in lecture hall, on my breaks at work, staying up a little later, getting up a little earlier, you know, I needed work. And it was at the time you had to go diamond in 3 months to get the $10,000 bonus. And I did that. And my first diamond check was $1,692. And that comma, as like a fresh 22-year-old that was young and broke and still in college, like we thought we were rich. And so seeing that comma really got my husband like excited and dreaming. And he was like not skeptical at all anymore after that. We were pumped. 2 months later, I went double diamond. He went diamond. That was 5 months in. We didn't know what we were going to make, but we knew we were going to make a lot of money. And so the day after we went double diamond, we quit our jobs at the same time. And it was buck wild. Our family was like, we love you so much, but are you sure you guys both want to do this? And we're like, no, we're not sure. But you know what? My husband worked as a manager at a call center, and he would be so overworked on salary pay. They abused your hours. He would come home, and the times that I was home to witness it, he would come home and he would have like 30 minutes before Carter went to bed, and he would come home, and just like any typical parent that works and comes home to see their kid, they're like, hey, and Carter would cling to me, not knowing his dad, because Zach worked all the time. So there came a point where he was like, it's just like, this isn't what I want to do anymore. I don't know what the company's going to do for us, but I know right now we're going to be making probably about $7,000 a month. It is stupid for me to keep living this life. So when we did that, I don't necessarily recommend quitting at the same time, but we just felt like it was on our hearts. And so we ran with it. A year after that, we went triple diamond, and then I got pregnant again, and that pregnancy was horrible. I was puking every day until like the end of my second trimester, so I don't know how the heck I would have been able to work. No idea. Thankfully, I didn't have to. And then I don't think I need to get like super into it, but when I went triple diamond, that when I got pregnant, I actually went from a high paid triple to a low paid diamond. Maybe not a low paid, it felt like a low paid, but so I did that like in a matter of like 6 months, and it's like we went from like killing it to like a new distributor or trying to figure out how we're going to pay our bills again. And that was when I had my son, that I lost that second rank. And so I kind of like started this business off fast, was really successful, and then I lost it all, and then I started again basically, but without like canceling and paying that money again. And so I think it's so powerful at least to hear that. I know I didn't like get into it, but I have that story on YouTube. But the reason I say that is because so many times, you guys, if you're a lifer in this business and you've made your mind up that you're in it for the long haul, which hopefully you guys all have, life's going to happen. I hope it doesn't hit you as hard as it hit me, but life's going to happen. And I hope it's not traumatic life. Like I've had girls on my team lose a spouse, be cheated on, lose a kid, like all of these things that unfortunately sometimes results in you like leaving the thing that brings you happiness, which is it works. But the point I'm trying to make is life is going to happen whether you're in it or not. And unfortunately, sometimes it knocks you off your game. But this is the answer. And I knew that when I lost it all, I had a pity party for myself. I was like, am I supposed to go back to work? I don't know. My husband did go back to work. And I just got to a point where, you know, when my husband went back to work, he went back to work for like 2 months, and then he's been home ever since. When he went back to work, my son was 3, my oldest. He understood that Zach was gone. And he would ask me like, where's daddy? When's he coming home? Like he didn't get it. And it would like be frustrating to me because I had to explain it to him. And I had this moment like in January. So after I lost it and I was trying to get it back, I had this moment where I'm like thinking about if I'm supposed to go back to work. Maybe I am supposed to stop if it works. Like maybe I was a one-hit wonder. I don't know. I had this moment where I was like, what if I go back to work? If I stop, if I really don't get my head out of my butt, we aren't going to be able to pay our bills, and I am going to have to get a job. If I go get a job, who's going to answer this question to my son? And I still, like, when I talk about that, it makes me so freaking emotional. And I like was just thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know who's going to answer that. And that would break my heart, because at least I was able to tell him that daddy was going to be home when he went to bed, and like all these things when Zach went back to work. And so I visualized that, and I felt it in my soul. And then I went even further to be like, okay, so if I do go back to work, who's going to answer that for my son? What is the post I'm going to make on social media to tell everybody I'm not doing it anymore? Hey, it's been 4 years and here I am. I quit. You guys win. And all of these things, I start like visualizing it as if like this is my last day with It Works. And it just made me feel like crap. And I cried, and I could cry again thinking about it. And so it's like, that was enough for me to like do it all again. And so I did. And so within 4 months, so that was in the beginning of 2017 that I had that like aha moment. And I was like, it's time to do this again. And from January to April in 2017, I gave myself a $17,000 raise, and we were making $20,000 a month. And it was like a miracle. It was crazy. And all we did is like, we made the decision. I made the decision to do it. And I stopped like letting the excuses of the fact that I have a colicky baby that I felt like hated me. My son, 3-year-old, he's obsessed with me, freaking clings to me all the time. My husband's at work. You know, I would just like be obsessed with these excuses on why my life was harder than XYZ's, instead of just embracing it. It's my story. Yeah, it sucks that I'm basically a single mom right now, but I don't want this life anymore. I want the life that I had. And some of you guys, maybe you're like, I didn't have that good life yet. Like, I'm looking for that good life. Well, that's when you like look at the person above you that has more than you, that you want, and you just, it's like you have to SHIT or get off the pot. And that's where I was at. And so I did it. And then I sat at presidential, but I still made like $16,000 to $20,000 a month for 2 years while building ambassador. And I just went ambassador in March, and here we are. I'm still ambassador. We're top 35, and we're just living the good life. We literally live a life, like I'm about to turn 27, and we live a life that a lot of people our age pray for. And a lot of people don't understand how we do it, but we do it, and we're happy, and it's awesome. And that's my long-winded story.
My God, I just love all of the pieces of your story. And obviously, like I said, I've been following you for a while, and I've watched your Zooms and stuff. And so like I knew all of those kinds of pieces, and with losing rank and stuff. And I've lost rank as well. And it's something that I'm very open about and vulnerable about, because I feel like it is something that people need to hear. They need to hear that, like, you can watch your paycheck drop, and then you can come back into it and get it back and go further than you even had before. So I freaking love that. I hope that you guys like just heard her when she said, like, from January to April, she gave herself a $17,000 raise, you guys. That is insane to me. Anyone who works at JOB knows that you get like $1 raise like once a year. So it's like, to be able to have the power in the compensation plan to make that much more money in such a short amount of time, like, and it's all in your hands. And it's just like she said, like, it was just making that decision to just set down the excuses, do what she was doing before, and make it happen. So, oh my gosh, that was awesome. So my next question for you is, I feel like every single successful person in this business has non-negotiable things that they do for their business every single day. So I don't know if you want to you don't have to tell us like your whole day, but like, do you have 2 or 3 things that like you are absolutely 100% doing on a daily basis to build your business?
Yeah. So I am always expanding my network. That's something that even when I was lazy and I wasn't sending messages, I was always doing that, because you guys, you're only as big as your market, your network. And I joined with only 200 Facebook friends, and I knew that like I was going to max out real quick. And I'm someone, and I don't know about you guys, probably some of you guys, maybe you're mixed, but like, I was not going to have parties. I didn't have enough Facebook friends, let alone freaking real life friends, to have parties. And I didn't ever want to do that. I never wanted to do the face-to-face in-person stuff. It gave me severe anxiety. I still, when I go shopping, I'm like, my head's down. I'm not trying to talk to you. God, if they're supposed to be my business, like make me run into them or something, but that hasn't happened. I'm supposed to be on social media. I just have anxiety. I'm so weird. I have social anxiety, I swear. But whatever the case, the point I'm making is that expanding your network is so crucial, because this just social media, yes, there's so much bad about it, so much annoying about it, but I feel like the annoying things are like, it's just your market. You just got to get a new market, and it's just so big. It's a gold mine. So expanding my network daily. I didn't have Instagram until I went triple. So I did it all on Facebook, but now Instagram, even though it's freaking hard for me, it's so hard. Instagram is another platform, so I'm like, that's even more people. And I feel like they're nicer there. They're prettier and greater. I just need them to talk back to me. That's all. But whatever the case, I'm expanding my network every single day. That's a non-negotiable. And now being in my position, but this is something I never changed either, as always talking to my team. From the minute I had one distributor to 7 bajillion trillion, I'm talking to my team. Yes, now I can't physically talk to every single person, but now it's like my leadership, like they're my babies. And if I make sure they're right, hopefully they're making sure their team's right, so that I can focus on my newbies too. But from the minute I started, I had signed my first distributor in 5 days, and then 2 more distributors in my 2 weeks. So that's what I remember. The rest I don't remember. But I had 3 distributors in my first 2 weeks. We were in a chat, and like we were talking all day, every day. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but like they were my babies. I was a leader the minute I signed one, and they had to be taken care of. So I talked to my team every day. I expand my network every day. And now this wasn't a non-negotiable until like very recently. Self-development. And I think, oh my gosh, I would roll my eyes. I would get on these Zooms and they'd be like, you need self-development. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, it's not like, I love to read, but I'm like, that's just not to me a non-negotiable. Like, I don't have time for it. But now that is one of my top priorities, it's like the business comes after that. And what's crazy is that when I take the time to do self-development every single day, my business unfolds. Yes, I still have to do work. I still have to message. I still have to do those things. But, you know, I got to a point a couple months ago where, I mean, it's been a battle my whole life. My weight, it affects everything, you know, it just, I don't know. And so I was just like unhappy with not only my appearance, but it affected me internally too. And I just felt like I was missing something, and I felt like I wasn't taking care of myself, you know, as a mom of two and a mom, like I have a stay-at-home husband, you know, like I don't say this as a joke, like he's like a kid in the sense of like, he needs me too. So I have a husband that I have to be a good wife for. I have 2 kids. I have a business that needs me. And it's like, I just wasn't taking care of myself. I was last and I was unhappy. So part of my self-development means I have to exercise for like 30 minutes to an hour, like actually get exercise in, which means I'm not on my phone. And then I also have to like read for at least an hour. I have to do those things. And sometimes I listen to things I'm not really about that. I love to read. And so that means that's like a good 2 hours of my day when my boys aren't home that like I have to spend not messaging. And that would give me anxiety because I'm like, I have to be messaging all day long. For the first 2 years of my business, I like worked this all day long. It's probably why I was successful, but it gets hard. It gets hard. And now I'm to a point in my life where I'm like preaching to my team, like, you can't do this 24 hours a day. You can't work for 8 hours straight doing this business. I do think you need to put the pedal to the metal and do it, but you'll burn out. And when this business is not fun, you guys, when it's not fun, that's when it's stressful. That's when you're like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to post. I'm trying to figure this out, and you're crabby and everything else is falling apart. When that happens to me, which is like every other week, I have to just pump the brakes, unplug, and remember that this is such a blessing to be a part of and that it has to be fun. And you got to figure out what makes it fun. And for me, what makes it fun is just not doing it all day long and being intentional. And right now, honestly, you guys, what's so crazy is that starting July 1st, I was like, I'm going to do 5 intentional hours a day. 5 intentional hours a day. And I wasn't paying attention to like how many hours I was doing before that. But I'm like, when I say intentional, I don't mean like doing it while I'm watching Teen Mom, like intentional hours in my office. And I thought that'd be a breeze. I thought that was like lowballing it. I've probably only gotten in 3 intentional hours in every single day. And I'm still doing really good. Like, I mean, my enrollments aren't like buck wild, but like things are really good in July. So it's like, as long as you're intentional about that and have a goal to shoot for, and again, you're intentional during that time, your business unfolds and you get it done and you don't have to do this all day long. So sorry, I kind of like went crazy here, but those are my non-negotiables are, you should be messaging, but sometimes I don't get messages in because I'm like doing everything else. So self-development, expansion of my network, and talking to my team would be the 3 that I do.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something to you guys. This might not be a typical like non-negotiable, you guys, but something that has really transformed my business. First of all, my kids go to school. I put them in daycare, and what I do, I used to wake up early. That wasn't benefiting me anymore. But what I do, you guys, is like when they come home, I take them there at 8, get home like 8:39, and then they come home at 4:30. So I have that time span to do whatever I want. I can be lazy or I can work. I can do that. When they come home, a non-negotiable for me is from 4 to 7. I have to hang out with them. I have to, because otherwise I'm not being a mom, and it's not fair to them. So that's a non-negotiable. And then I do usually Zooms or work hours from like 7:30 to 10. And then at 10, I put my phone on airplane mode. And this is something that used to give me anxiety too, because I'm like, everyone's night owls and they're going to message me and like, I'm never going to be around. And I have the mindset that like, for example, like I'm so ridiculous that like, if I want to get my hair done tomorrow and my hairdresser is busy and my mind's made up that I want to get my hair done tomorrow, I'm going to go to someone else. And maybe that means I'm not loyal, but like, that's my mindset. My husband's always like, people value your time. And I'm like, no, if someone wants to join someone's team and they message me and I don't message them until tomorrow, they're going to join someone else's team. So like that would give me anxiety of like, I feel like I had to be on it all the time, but I put my phone in airplane mode at 10 o'clock. And so from 10 to 12 or 10 to 11, whenever I go to sleep, that's my husband's time. It doesn't seem like a lot of time. We're also home together, but like that's intentional. Watch a movie, play a game, talk, hang out, cuddle, whatever we want to do. And those 2 non-negotiables, adding those in, again, means I'm not on my phone, but I'm telling you, it's like I'm blessed beyond measures because I'm taking the time for them too. So then I don't lose my sanity. They're happy. Everybody's winning. And it's like what Pam always says is like, there's no such thing as balance, but you can have it all. You can. And I just learned that like this year. It's been 5 years and I just learned that this year, but it just takes time. And I think that the point, like you have to figure out what season you're in and what that season needs. So like, I just got out of a season where I was waking up, forcing myself to wake up at 5:30 every morning for a year. And it was awesome. It transformed my business, having 2 hours of work time in before everyone else got up. But then like about a month or 2 ago, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's like my body shut down. I was dreading waking up at 5:30. I would wake up at 5:30, be lazy during that power hour in the morning, and then I'd take a 3-hour nap in the afternoon, and then my boys would come home, and it just, things weren't working out. So I had to stop doing that. So now I wake up at 7:20, which is drastic difference, but I'm happier. I'm doing more because I'm getting sleep, and I'm just happier. So you just got to figure out what works for you, and just know that it's okay to switch it during the season that you're in.
I love that. So I know we talked a little bit about this. So I'm like 37 weeks pregnant. I'm like getting induced on the 22nd if he's not here yet. And this is my first baby. So my life has completely changed, not just in the past 9 months, but literally T-2 weeks until like I'm in mommy mode for the first time in my entire life. So I love that you talked about that. And I'm going to remember this quote forever. Like, if it's not fun, it falls apart. If it's not fun, it falls apart. Like, if it doesn't feel good, then it's not how it's supposed to be. This business, literally the like slogan of our company is friendships, freedom, and fun. Like Pam and Mark and the entire corporate team expect us to love what we do. So if you're stressing out and you're not spending time with your family, which is the whole reason that you're doing this anyways, you're not gonna be happy. And if you're not happy, then even the time that you do put into your business isn't gonna be well spent. So I love that you talked about being intentional. We've been doing like guided power hours on our team, and it's been a total game changer of like, we're sitting down, we're working, this is exactly what we're doing. And I feel like it's been a huge game changer. So I absolutely love that. And then I love that you said self-development, because I was the same way. I was such like I don't need that, like whatever. And then I was just talking to a girl on our team earlier today, and I was like, when you get to a certain level of personal growth, you can't even remember why you didn't do it in the first place. And your mindset in this business is everything. So I love that you touched on that too. That was awesome. So you talked a little bit about this already, this next thing that I wanted you to touch on, about how you went from like a triple to like getting paid as a diamond. And so the question that I had written down is, have you ever felt stuck or been in a quote unquote funk, and how did you get out of it? So I know you answered a little bit, but I don't know if you want to just give us like a little more insight into like the actions that you like physically like took to like get yourself. I know that like obviously there's no such thing as a slow season. Plenty of people promote in the summer, but I feel like we're in that weird season where there are a lot of girls on my team who they're feeling stuck, they're feeling funky, their mindset is slipping. We have a lot of girls who have kind of walked away during this time. So I don't know if you want to just kind of talk about like the intentionality that you have to like pick the momentum back up in your business when it feels like it's falling apart.
Right, for sure. And you guys, like, again, I swear, I'm not saying that everybody that stays in this business forever, your life's going to fall apart. I'm really not saying that, but you guys, it's so crazy. So like, we've been challenged, and it's crazy. It's just crazy how this works out. If you like, just listen, if you listen and you do what you're supposed to do. And so, like I said, like the past 2 to 3 months is like, I've really been intentional, like self-development, taking care of myself. Like, yes, I'm not a size 1 yet, hopefully one day, but I fall off the bandwagon with that, but like I'm being intentional as the best I can. And so you guys, I'm telling you, it's crazy that I just started that basically. And now it's like the quote unquote, it's so hard because I don't want to say slow either, but it's like a little slow. It's just the inevitable summer, you guys. Like people are outside, like even me, I'm battling, you guys. I moved to Tennessee a couple months ago. It's freaking hot. I have a great sunbathing area in my backyard. I would love to just bathe, get tan, and watch shows and do those kind of things. Like it's summers. I don't feel like in this business any other year summer's hit me this hard, but like I'm battling the laziness. And so I get it, you guys, I get it. But the biggest mistake, you guys, when I was in that valley that felt like it was 600 years long, what I realized, because in January 1st of 2017, I was like, I'm back, I'm ready, I'm going to do it. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. And I remember in January, 31 days, I'll talk a little bit about what I kind of did, nothing crazy, but for 31 days, like I was hustling, I was back. And then prelims posted and I got a $300 raise and I was pissed. I was like, I'm freaking back and I'm hustling like I did in the beginning. And I got a $300 freaking raise, which again, I'm a triple diamond. Yeah, I'm maintaining diamond, but like that's just wasn't cutting it. And I was ticked off, and I don't remember who it was, but they were like, you can't just take like 6-7 months off and then work for 1 month straight and expect to have it all back. You know, what sucks is that when you take time off, you're not working. you have to sometimes triple, quadruple the time back on to see all of your work pay off. And that's what's like, I learned the hard way. And I mean, thankfully, like it didn't take me that long, but like I learned that. And so I'll tell my team now, I'm like, we just can't like quote unquote sleep on the summer. Yeah, it's harder and everything, but I've just kind of trained their mindsets for the summer in the sense of like, not that they're going to not enroll people, but I'm just like, listen, we all were mass enrollers the first quarter and the second quarter or whatever, but like, we're just not going to sign 60 million customers a month. So let's stop setting our expectations that high and let's be grateful every single time we sign a customer, because it's going to be freaking hard to sign customers. And so I know that sounds crappy. Like I trained my team that it's going to be hard to sign customers, but now it's like I signed 14 last month and I worked freaking hard, and 14 is great, but not for me. And so I was just like, celebrating every single one. So now like my girl, one of my triple diamonds, she was like, I signed my first customer, and like freaked out in our chat. And we're like, yeah, because it's hard right now. So when you just realize that it's just slower because the season and it's beautiful. And of course, like parents are home with their kids. It's inevitable. You're going to celebrate those wins even more. And then you're going to realize like, I don't have to sign 1,600 distributors and 1,600 customers. As long as I'm just doing what I'm supposed to, it's going to pay off. It might just pay off a little bit slower. And then I also have been training them, you guys to know like a win isn't just an enrollment. For some reason, we got to this point in this business where it's like, you think you're only winning if you're signing people every single day. And I'm telling you, I've been in this business for 5 years and I've never had a month. It's a goal on my dream board. I would love to have a month where I sign someone every day for 30 days. I think that'd be amazing to say. Haven't done it yet, but maybe one day. Also haven't signed 100 customers a month, and that's my goal someday. But we have this mindset that like we suck if we go 3 days without signing someone. And that's just so far from the truth. So I've just been talking to my team and reminding them that like there's so much more you can do that might not literally pay off right now, but as long as you just try to go to bed. And here's the thing is like, I used to be like, go to bed with a win every single night. Listen, we're human. And sometimes I just have to go to bed crabby. Sometimes I just need to soak it up. Okay. Like it's just, you can't be perfect. So as long as like every other day, you're like just intentional about going to bed with a win. What does that win consist of? Oh, you're lucky you signed a customer. Great. Sometimes for me, my win is I just trained a sidelines team tonight and I feel great because I was able to help you guys. I can go to bed right now on a win. Oh, I talked to one of my girls off the ledge. Oh, I wrote someone a thank you note. Like just those things. If you think about it like that, it's like you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then you're not hard on yourself when you didn't sign a customer every time before you went to bed, So those kind of things, just having your mindset be right. And then also knowing, you guys, like there's a feeling, I wanted to kind of piggyback off of that last topic we talked about. There is a point in this business, I battle it now, ever so now, not being at the top, but like you'll do it the whole time, is like where you feel inadequate. And I feel like it's the minute you sign a distributor and you get to a point where you're like, I don't feel like I have anything to offer. Like I feel that all the time, and I'm like, it's a battle in my head that I'm like, I just don't know what I can train them on, this new method or whatever. And that's where self-development saves you, because you guys, you'll come to a point where you're like, I don't have a new method. I don't really have anything to say. I've said the same pump up every day for 7 days straight. And so that's why I love it so much and why I'm so addicted to it. Now is because I'll read my book, for an hour before bed, and I'll be like, holy crap, that's a quote, that's a quote, that's a quote. I'm going to write all this down. And then I want to go live tomorrow on my team page because I feel so good because I've heard all of that in a different way. It's like, that's like your upline always like whispering in your ear on how to train your team is by doing that. So making sure you're doing the self-development during that time. I feel like when we're crabby and we're in that valley, that's the last thing we want to do, but it saves me. It saves me. It saves me. I had a situation this morning where I didn't feel very good. I had a situation, a conflict with someone on my team, and I was just like, this just sucks. Like I'll go a month with like building myself up, feeling like I'm just the best Christian, a nice person. I can like take on the world. And then someone says something the wrong way and it crushes me. And I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I'm not mentally strong enough to deal with people every day. And I just was pissed off this morning. I got back from taking the boys to school. Zach, like I was making my keto coffee. Zach like came around and like put his arms around my waist, and I like, I elbowed him and I was like, I need you to get away. I'm having anxiety and I'm just pissed off. And he was like, good morning. And he like walked away, and then he came back in an hour later and he was like, do you feel better? And I was like, a little bit. I'm just going to go read. But like sometimes those things happen, and I felt so good. And then I ended up squashing and handling that conflict. And I like felt good enough after the self-development to handle it, because I'm like, I don't want to feel this way, guys. At the end of the day, when you're feeling in a funk, it's easy to feel that way. It's easy, guys. I'm the queen of having a pity party for myself. I love it. I don't know why. It's like I love to be sad. I don't know. It's just like, it's easy for me. And that's the way our minds work. I feel like it's easy to take the easy way out and to be negative, have these excuses, to do all these things. The hard part is to be positive. And so I've been reading these books, and I've just like, common sense tells you, why do you want to feel that way? Like, I don't want to feel how I felt this morning. Like XYZ hates me, and that like, is someone talking about me? Or like, I don't want to feel those feelings. It's easy to feel them, but we have the decision to say, I don't want to feel that way. Like, if I'm annoyed with Zach and we're fighting, like, I have the decision to like hold his hand and be like, I don't really want to hate you anymore. That's drastic. I love him so much. But you do understand what I'm saying? Like, you have the decision to not feel like SHIT anymore. You have the decision. So it's just crazy. It's just so crazy that like, we just take the easy way out and we feel negative. But that's just a little bit, hopefully that helped you a little. But when it came time to like get out of my valley and to like climb that mountain again, and I'm like, it's time for the comeback, I knew I had to start over. And some of you guys might be in that position where you're like, something's got to give. We got to change it up here. First things first is like, you got to get back to the basics. So if you're struggling right now, there's something you're not doing. And for me, I was like, well, I haven't gone on a Zoom in a minute. Haven't even gone live on my team page in another minute. Haven't read, haven't done any of that. And so I started off by like doing those things in the beginning. So like taking the time, again, you guys, I love TV. I will never cut it out. I love reality TV. I'm a binge watcher. It's my everything. I have so many shows right now that are recorded. So that would be, again, the easy way out, especially with summer. I would love to just watch it, but I use that as a reward. And I know that if I'm not on it, my team's not on it, you know? And it's literally common sense. Sherry Lynn Akala, the new number 2 in our company right now, did a Zoom for our team Monday. And she even said it, and it was reassuring. I'm like, okay, so someone else, she's been in it for 5 years too, but someone else that's at the top. Like, sometimes I think you feel like, does anyone ever feel like, am I ever going to get to a point where like, I don't have to work for my team to kill it? No, it just doesn't work like that. You always have to work. You don't have to be psycho. You always have to work. And so even she said, like, I know if I'm not doing Zooms, no one on my team is. Well, there might be 1 or 2 that's going to kill it without you, but they're not as excited if you're not leading the pack. So that's what I had to start with. I just started doing those Zooms again. I would watch literally newbie Zooms, all those Zoom recordings that felt like, well, I know how to sign a customer. I know how to do this stuff, but I would watch it and then I would take notes on it. And as I did that enough, I was like, okay, now I'm just going to take this to my team and I'm going to train them. Because when you're sucking and you're like feeling discouraged and like you're just struggling, I feel like you get to a point where you're not doing those things as a leader. And so your team doesn't look at you as a leader. And I feel like that's one of the worst things in the world, is when your team doesn't look at you as a leader. I feel like in return, you stop acting like a leader. And so my girls, you know, sometimes I'll have some of my leadership, they're like, I want to be known and I want to be leading from the front and I want all of these things, like, tell me how to do it. And I'm just like, you just got to keep being loud with your leadership. Every single time you have a tip, every single time I signed a customer, when I came back, like anytime I signed one, I would send screenshots of like, this is how I said it. This is what I said. This is how, like, everybody. And then we also dove into groups. We were killing it with groups, and I don't know why we stopped it, but like, we went ham on finding like individual unique groups based on us. And we, expand our network like crazy. And we would like start conversations. Like, we were intentional about just making friends that way. And we were building our team that way. And then we were just showing up together. I took myself off the platform that I didn't realize I was on. And I just was honest with them. And I'm like, listen guys, like, I'm a triple diamond that's maintaining diamond and we're barely paying our bills. And I'm really unhappy with where I'm at in the business. I'm struggling just as bad as you are. I need to know who's ready to take this like to a whole nother level with me. And I will show up again. I let you down. I've been sucking. I promise you, I know I'm talking the talk right now, but I'm going to walk the walk with whoever's ready. And there were people that were like, nah, not really feeling it. Not trying to go into 2017 with you. And that was fine. But I had like 10 people that wanted to. So I put them in a chat and we just like, I didn't act like I was this triple diamond. I acted like we're new distributors together. And then we just rebuilt together. And before you know it, you find people that can bring in 8,000 GV in 1 month. And like, you find those people and it's like, once you start getting those wins again, it just all makes sense. It just all makes sense. So maybe the reason I was in that valley for so long was like, I was like too cocky for my britches. We had fast success. We were making lots of money as triple diamonds and I wasn't maybe appreciating it. We were still in debt. I wasn't giving back like I do now. I don't know. I feel like as fast as God gives it to you, he can take it away. And I just felt like I needed to be taught a lesson. And it was a long lesson, but I just can show everybody else now that like you can overcome it. And it's just a matter of if you're ready. So many times we like pray and we pray for a runner and we're like, I want this, but you're not doing those things that you want. you're not ready. I want to end with this, like, if you have another question, but like with this topic, last month, you guys, I had this, okay. So I went ambassador in March. When you get paid your first ambassador check, you get to open up your 2.0 account. This is something that I was so pumped about because I'm like, I can't wait, like another income. I'm going to do it all again. It made me excited to go executive again. Like that's easy, right? And so I opened it up. I couldn't sign it. So I had to open it up on April 15th when we got paid. Those last 2 weeks, couldn't sign a distributor. I'm like, okay, we'll start in May. And then in May, I signed 3 distributors, and they were hard distributors to sign. It was so hard. And they all 3 canceled. All 3 freaking canceled on me. And I was just like, this sucks. And it got in my head, and I was literally like, I'm having flashbacks of my husband's team where like he was cursed. His like last spot was cursed for so long, and it was so hard. It was so hard. And I'm just like, my 2.0 is cursed. This sucks. I can't even sign a good distributor anymore. All of these things, it's like I was speaking life into it. And then I was talking to my accountability partner, and I was telling her that I was like, I'm just going to fall behind because my 2.0 is cursed, and maybe I'm not supposed to build it. Maybe I'm just supposed to keep signing customers. She was like, you're speaking so like negatively about it. And so you're bringing that energy out there. And it's stuff that we hear all the time, but I'm like, you're right. So you guys, when I started going on walks, like that's part of my self-development exercise, I go on walks. I started like literally talking out loud, like kind of like journaling, but like out loud, maybe praying, whatever you want to call it. And I was just literally like, I attract great people that are self-sufficient, that kill it, that want to go to the top, that want to do more than just be a kidnapper. Like my 2.0 is thriving. I am a distributor signing machine. Like those things that I've never done before. And I just probably looked so ridiculous. I would say them every day. Then I had a day in June where I was like, I was on my walk and I'm like, I'm just freaking ready. I still haven't been a master enroller as a distributor in a few months. I'm just ready. And I was praying and praying, and I'm just like, I'm a distributor signing machine. My 2.0 is thriving. I'm ready for my runners. I'm ready. I'm here to show up. I accept all responsibility. And I was doing those things. I was like, not only asking for the runners, but I was showing that I was ready because I was taking on the responsibilities. Because I feel like if you're not ready, why the heck would you be blessed with someone? If you're not taking care of yourself, why would you even think you could take care of someone else? And so I walked outside and I was saying all these things. And within 24 hours, I signed 5 distributors, and all 5 came to me. And that boxed me for Ruby. And I went from distributor to Ruby 2.0 that month. And now I've signed 2 distributors this month. Not the best. I want to sign like 1,600. Now I'm fired up. But I stopped saying those negative things about like, I can't sign distributors. I mean, that was truthful. I wasn't. So I thought I couldn't. And then I felt like my 2.0 was cursed. But then I channeled it. And I'm not saying that everything you ask for you get. But if you're not mentally ready, you're not going to move forward, especially move forward fast. So I don't know. It was just insane. It was so insane and crazy, but
I love that, Rachel. I don't know if you've seen like, so I'm on Jade Hooper's team, and we've been doing a lot of manifesting stuff.
I don't
money manifesting. What?
Yeah. Tapping.
Yeah,
is that
so
what
we've been doing the tapping, and then she also is doing something with a woman named Amanda Francis, who's like a money manifesting like guru, and so she's been sharing a lot of it with the Diamonds and Above. So in March or maybe April, I actually did an entire Zoom on like manifesting and like how you manifest, and I actually made and manifested myself an $8,000 double diamond paycheck this last spring, and I did it through journaling, affirmations, channeling, visualization, and it's just like I love when other people reiterate, because I think my team is like gonna hit me in the face if I talk about mindset one more time, because it's so true. Like just being in that mindset and just being in that zone of like, it's going to happen. I'm ready for it. I'm worthy of it. I'm working towards it, and I know that it's gonna happen for me. It just literally changes everything because God sees that. Like he's like, okay, like she's putting in the work. She has the attitude of gratitude. She's ready for it. Time to drop it in her life. Like, so I'm so glad that you just said that, because it's huge. It's so big, and you feel like it's silly, and you literally feel like an idiot because you're like walking around your house being like, I'm gonna enroll distributors today. They're gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the best. But like that, you gotta just hype yourself. You gotta be your own hype man sometimes, guys.
Yeah.
So I love that. Oh, that was so good. Okay, so my last bit that I'll ask you about is, so we have this deal right now for distributors. What is like your best tip for like kind of closing out this week? Obviously, like it goes until Sunday. What are you doing to just make sure that you're like maximizing on it being half off to join until, until the end of the month. Oh, hold on. We have somebody who's unmuted. There we go. All right. What's your best tip on like using this $49 deal and just like making sure that you're like using it to the best of your ability?
Yeah, so first things first is I'm not caught up on my recordings. That comes last this week. That's very important to know. Funny, I'm just funny. I'm really not. Zach's always like, your jokes aren't funny, but they made me laugh. So honestly though, well, you have to, I'm trying to work a little bit harder this week because I know it's like on a time crunch, and I would love for all my distributors to sign for $50 over $100, of course. But what we've been doing is like, we've been for a while now taking advantage of going live on Facebook and doing those opportunities. And you guys, the reason why, listen, it's not just to do them, but like we were doing them once a week. We did one tonight though, right before this, and then one last night. But before that, we were doing it once a week and we were focusing on different things. So what I would do is for the rest of this week, I mean, figure it out. But like we would do stuff like one designated to moms, one for college students, one for people that have been with It Works before. And so it's not like we were only when we talked about it, we were focused on that. But when we were like trying to get potentials on, it was like everybody should. But whatever the case, when we do these, you guys, the reason they work so freaking good is because I make sure my team's doing the homework. Otherwise, I'm going to stop doing them. And so what the homework is like they have to spend all day long. I don't post about it until the day of, like in the afternoon. So for example, I posted this one this afternoon. And so, I'll give scripts and I'm like, you guys have to do the homework all day long and making sure you get people confirmed that they're getting on. All they have to do is tune into my Facebook, blah, 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 blah. So they have to make sure they're sending those follow-ups, sending those messages. Sometimes I take the time to like make up my own for them to send out, but they have to do those things. And if it feels like we're not signing distributors anymore from them, I'm going to stop doing them because it's a waste of my time otherwise. So they're doing that and then they get on. And so I know I'm confident with whoever I'm speaking with on the Zoom or the live video. I know that we can seal the deal because I'm just so confident, you guys. I'm so freaking confident and excited with what we have our hands on. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't. And when you have that mindset, you stop getting upset when someone says no. You stop getting upset when people ignore you. They're just not right now. That's all. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You have to think about that quote. So I know I can seal the deal as long as they get them on. So we make sure we do that. And those opportunities have been great because, okay, so they're great for that, but then they're great because, for example, all day today, I'm talking to people. I did one yesterday, I did one tonight. Yesterday's was really, really awesome. Tonight, I don't even know I didn't even look at like how it was. But what was awesome is that all day today, I'm like messaging people, I'm cold messaging them, I'm messaging for follow-ups. And when I get to the point of like, so if I'm sending a cold message that's like, babe, why aren't you doing what I do? You're freaking hot. We'd be best friends, whatever. When they message me back and say, what do you do? And also with my team, I don't have to do anything. And I just say, hey, what are you doing right now? I'm going to send you something that I did last night, 30 minutes long. Watch this real quick. I guarantee. And then I always end with, I guarantee after you're done, you're going to want to join me immediately. And so what's awesome is that one, I'm saving time because I don't have to freaking figure out what am I going to tell them, because that's the worst question in the world is, what do you do? I still don't even know what the perfect answer is. I'm like, what am I going to say that keeps them talking to me? Because you can easily say too much. And then that's a struggle I have too is my distributors. When they ask me, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, because I talk to my distributors like my potential distributors one-on-one, like this is my life. So it's sometimes hard for me to train people on that. So what's awesome is that this is like working smarter, not harder. And so now all my distributors, if they're talking to their potentials and they get that question, what do you do? I'm like, send them that opportunity. And it's like, that's doing the work for me. And if they don't watch the opportunity, are they even meant to be? Like, are they just lazy? Like, why can't they even watch that? You know, they're going to ask what I do, but they're not going to watch that video. I mean, that kind of says something to me. But for the most part, everyone that's meant to be, people sign up fast after. If it's a good opportunity, people sign up fast after, or they have one or two set questions that I can answer. There's a difference between saying, okay, do I have to pay anything once I'm in? Then I don't know, tell me everything. And I'm like, I don't know what you need to hear, you know? So those have been really helping. We're doing another one tomorrow, which might be overload, but that's what we're trying to do this week is just like opportunity. And then throughout the day messaging, and then also making sure we're sharing our story every single day as we're expanding. That's really what we're doing. And I'm just trying to take the time, like something I'm guilty of is like, I know what works. Sometimes I just work so hard with my head down that I forget to like help my team. I forget to like get them on a Zoom and be like, this post works, say it this way, message this many people. So I'm trying to take time for that too. But that's what we're doing. Hopefully they
That's
extend it.
awesome. I love that. So we do something somewhat similar. We have like a group page that every single week we go live in, and then we save like all the live stories in there and stuff. So we do something similar. So when we're talking to potentials, and they get to that point where they're like, oh, what do you do, blah, blah, blah. We just say like, oh, can I add you to a page with more info? And there's like links and success stories. And
Wow.
And then on Monday nights we go live in there, and we do like similar stuff. And I'll do like a product, like I'll say like, if you comment on this, like I'll send you somebody a packet of keto coffee, like things like that to get them interactive. But I love the watch parties that you do. I watch them too, and get inspired by the stories you guys have on them also. So I think that's a super good idea. I love the idea of like targeting them, like doing one that's for moms and then doing one that's for students. Because I think that's, sometimes it is hard. Sometimes like I always watch Jade, and I always, like, my own self-limiting belief was like, I'm not a mom. Like I wasn't a mom for the first like 3 years of my business. And so I was like, I can't do this because I'm not a mom. Like, and I feel like some people like get like that. So, but there's so many different kinds of successful people in this business. So I'm obsessed. I took so many notes. Thank you so much for doing this for us, Rachel. I feel like I just got so much out of this, and you just spoke on like just so many things that we needed to hear. And I'm going to let you go because we've got busy stuff happening, but everyone is super, super grateful for your time. And yeah, I won't be a green carpet because I'm going to have a little bitty baby, but I'll be at conference in February. Yeah. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much, Rachel. Have a great night.
Welcome.
Bye.
You too. Bye.